Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Strong Sexy You podcast. I am your co host, Aubrey Warwick, along with Andy Wagner. Today, we are talking about something that is really important. And the title of today's talk is called Stop It! Exclamation points. And really, these are our top 10 things to stop doing in order for you to improve your body composition. If you want that banging body, if you want that snatch waistline, if you want that delicious peach emoji, then this podcast is pretty much for you. So Andy's going to start us off because this one is something that we want you to write down and we want you to just stop right now.
Yeah, so we have 10 things that we want you to stop doing. The first one is we want you to stop complaining that I have to eat clean or I have to work out. Go negative. We want to flip that around. We got to get in the right mindset of I get to work out. I get to eat clean. I get to eat all these amazing foods that are going to nourish my body and help me have the most amazing workouts that I can. And sometimes that's easier said than done, especially if you don't have a lot of support at home, at work, out with your friends. So a big part of flipping that mindset and going from the negative to the positive is finding your people, finding your community that is going to support you. And it doesn't have to be at home because it's your journey. You can ask other people to join, but nobody has to. So find those people who are like-minded and they want to eat clean and they want to exercise. And maybe you find them at your gym, or maybe you find them in a Facebook group, wherever it is. We have our community, our Strong Sexy You community, and everyone's so supportive. And we're there to help out if people have questions. So even if you're not getting that support at home or at work or with your friends, you can find it elsewhere. And it's really going to help to flip that mindset from I have to do this to I get to do this. I want to do this. So that is my first thing to stop doing.
Yeah. And Andy, we talk a lot about this in our Strong Sexy You programs where you let go of that victim mentality and you flip the script. It's all about that reframing. And we all have the resources. So it's a matter of you got the resources that will sabotage you, and you also have the resources that will build you up. And that is definitely what keeps us going and growing the program.
For sure.
So we're climbing the ladder here. And the next one is stop expecting immediate results. And really, results take time and consistency. It's so interesting, when we have sidebar conversations, probably with our friends, right? They're like, well, I've been doing this for 3 days and the scale hasn't moved, or I still have a headache. My skin hasn't changed. I, don't have the butt of my dreams, whatever. And the hard thing is because when we make too many changes at once, I think sometimes that's when we feel like we're in the state of deprivation and that we want to then see in 3 days all of the results, right? And so,
right.
If you can say I'm just going to tweak one thing this week, you're not going to feel like got to get on the scale and see these immediate results. But if you accumulate those 6 weeks, that's where it's going to blow your mind. And with our programs, we always make sure that people take their before pictures. And this seems like, duh, of course, I'm going to take my before pictures. People don't want to do it. It's very emotional to see yourself kind of like, oh my gosh, what has happened, right? What has happened to me? This is this representation of me, and I don't want to believe it, and so give yourself that grace. You have to just say, I'm going to do this. It doesn't matter how ugly or hard it is, because I've been there. I have totally been there. Andy and I both have had a baby.
Yes.
So we get it.
Yeah. And, people even think, oh, the scale didn't really change, so I'm not even going to take my 6-week pictures. Take the pictures because you see yourself every day. You're not going to notice the subtle differences, but there's going to be a difference if you're actually sticking to something. There's going to be a difference in 6 weeks. There are some of those things out there, the fad things that will get you immediate or really fast results. But we all know if it sounds too good to be true, probably is, it's not going to last. Some of these real strict diets or extreme workouts, you might notice something right away, but it's not going to be sustainable. So totally stop expecting those immediate results. All right, number 3. This is not going to make me the most popular girl in town today. Stop drinking so much alcohol. Okay, that's really going to stall your progress if you're looking to lose body fat. And I never tell clients you cannot drink. You know, maybe they have a certain goal that, okay, if they stop drinking for a certain amount of time, like a fitness show or something like that, yeah, it will benefit them. But I'm not going to tell lifestyle people you can never have alcohol again. But one, we might need to change the type of alcohol. We might need to change the frequency of alcohol. And if body fat is really the thing that you're looking to get rid of, you're going to have to dial it back quite a bit, because alcohol, and I'm not going to go into this whole alcohol talk. I think this is another topic for another day. But people think, you know, oh, I just need the low calorie alcohol, or the White Claw, the High Noon, the vodka soda. Okay, so there are some better choices than others. That, you know, the big creamy pina colada with the cherries and the whipped cream. Sounds good. That's obviously going to have tons more calories, but it's really the alcohol. Okay, that alcohol, once it goes into your body, it becomes another fuel source. We have carbohydrates, fats, proteins in our body that are used as fuel. But when we drink alcohol, it gets turned into acetate. It's converted to acetate in our liver, and that acetate becomes another fuel source. So now we have to work even harder with our workouts to burn off the acetate before we can even head towards those carbohydrates and fats to burn. So, you know, if fat loss is your goal, if you want to change your body composition, we need to dial it back on the booze.
Guilty.
Me too.
Yeah. No, I think it's such an incentive to actually dial it back when you know what you're doing to your body and how your body processes it. I think that's, what really gets it for me. That's always my incentive, other than sometimes we just get focused on one thing, like the calories or the carbs. And that's where the marketing gimmicks come in, like the White Claw. Okay, no sugar
Yes.
added. And yeah, that can be great, but you're describing this pina colada, and it's almost like I'd rather have that because it's worth the calories than the White Claw. So, I don't know.
I get your point. I'm with you.
Yeah. So, okay. So number 4 is you have to stop burning the candle at both ends and set a solid bedtime. You're going to hear a lot of people in our world recommend you do this. How do you get to sleep earlier? And this is really how the body works, is that, your circadian rhythm is going to be affected if you're going to bed, let's say after 10:30. Yeah. And that used to be me. I had to really switch gears and retrain myself in terms of like having an earlier bedtime and that solid stop time where I'm like, this is it. And now my brain does not work past a certain hour. And I know, Andy, you've said that plenty of times. Like I've tried it. I've tried to be really present in the morning and in the evening, and it doesn't. You got to pick one, and you will shift. You totally will shift. Like I know that since I've had Roman, I mean, I made the shift. And even Dan, it took him a little while to become an earlier riser, but he did it. So that is definitely going to be your go-to. And if you are listening to this and you are drinking caffeine, I want you to measure the amount of caffeine that you're drinking a day. I want you to monitor the type of caffeine that you're drinking, because this goes hand in hand with your sleep. And you might be even rolling your eyes right now and saying, well, duh. And then to that, I say, well, what are you doing about it? And that was another thing that I had to really, own up to. I was like, but it's coffee and it's so, there's not calories in it, or however I wanted to justify my caffeine intake. So then I just had to have that hard truth of like, well, what is this actually doing to my adrenal glands? And is it giving me energy, or is it just giving me the feeling of a sense of urgency to do something? So I think it's like, again, taking that step back. And when you're ready to adjust your sleep schedule, pair that with your reduction of caffeine if you are a caffeine drinker.
Awesome. I'm not a coffee drinker. I do have some caffeine each day, but I try not to have any more than like one thing with caffeine. So we'll see.
What's your guilty pleasure? Inquiring minds want to know.
I've been guilty of the occasional energy drink.
I know, I know. And I
Love
wanted
me
people to
some
know that so
tea.
they know that you're still human.
Yeah, I am. I am. Love me some tea though. I'm a tea drinker, not a coffee drinker. So,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
yeah, I'm
Well, what's your favorite tea?
guilty.
I didn't know that you were a tea drinker.
Yeah, I'll drink any tea. I mean, black tea, green tea, whatever it is.
Okay.
So
Do you put honey in it or just plain?
usually honey, raw honey.
Yeah.
Um, but if I get like an iced green tea, I don't put anything in it. I just drink it by itself. So
So,
yeah.
um, this little cafe restaurant by my house that you've been to, it's called Sundog. Uh,
Yeah.
this one day I wasn't feeling very good and I went in, and usually once a week I get their like organic coffee. It's called a whiskey Americano. No, there's no whiskey in it, but the coffee beans are like brewed in whiskey barrels, right? So it's my favorite thing. I came in this one day and they're like, "What, you're not getting coffee? What's wrong with you?" And they made me their alcohol-free hot toddy. Have you ever had a hot toddy?
Ooh. No.
Oh, so it's raw honey. It's lots of fresh lemon. I think they probably use a green tea, but I guess you could do black tea, and then cinnamon and a little bit of cayenne pepper. Oh my
Okay.
gosh, that it was a game changer.
That sounds really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I recommend it. Not even, I mean, even when you're feeling healthy, like it was, I mean,
Okay.
so good. Yeah.
That sounds really good. There is a tea, I believe the brand is Tazo,
Yeah.
and it's an orange tea. I do love that one too.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Good to know.
Yeah. All right. Tip number 5 of things to stop doing if you want to live a healthier lifestyle. Stop cutting out whole food groups. Okay, guys, we need all the foods. Okay, we need pure forms of all the foods, but we need a variety in our diet, and that includes carbohydrates, that includes fats, that includes the proteins, fruit. Now I'm gonna toot Aubrey's horn a little bit. Aubrey is one of the leanest women I know. Her body is,
You
your
know, I
body
haven't
is
always been that lean. You know it.
I know, but here's the thing that people may not know about you. This woman eats more fruit than anybody I know.
Yeah.
Okay, fruit is not bad. Fruit is amazing. It really nourishes your body. And I'm not talking like Aubrey eats a piece of fruit a day. Aubrey's eating bananas and apples a day. Okay. And I eat quite a bit of fruit too. And we were joking. I remember even last summer, I was like, you guys, I've been eating fruit and I didn't get fat. Isn't that amazing? Joking, of course. But so many people say, stay away from fruit or stay away from carbs. Guys, we need carbs not only for energy, but to help us build some new muscle. So you need that protein in there, and you need the carbs. You need the good fat, especially as we're getting older. I mean, not only do you need good fat for brain health, but we need it for our skin, our hair, our nails. And my older clients, I'm giving them tons of good fat because we just need it. We don't want to have that dried out look. So the good fat's going to help. So those diets that cut out entire food groups, again, you may see a quick fix. It's just not sustainable. And for overall health and well-being, we really need all the food groups in there.
Yeah. And that one, that point is just going to withstand the test of time, because I think that everything that is on this earth that is natural and whole foods was really designed for the human being to consume. So it's just interesting. We do get caught up, and you and I have both fallen victim to it
Yes.
over the years of, bodybuilding, and how do we get our body composition, the leanest possible and still maintain muscle. And sometimes we just try to use, the science at the time that is just now outdated, and
Yeah.
the trends and the fads continue to evolve, but oftentimes not in the favor of the mainstream public. So going back to basics with that is huge. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this one, that's always interesting because Andy and I work with people, and look at their food logs all the time, right? And people like to confess their food sins, and I put that in air quotes, food sins, right, to us. Like, oh my gosh, can you believe I ate this? So number 6 is stop eating like a bird and not getting enough protein in. And, I think that's a matter of being an instinctive eater and an informed eater. I know that Chalene Johnson likes to say those two words in the same sentence, and I love to use them as well, because eating instinctively is definitely necessary. It's not a matter of force feeding yourself, but being an informed eater is, making sure that you are nourishing yourself with the amount of protein that is sustainable. And, we've looked at this, Andy. It's interesting. You don't need that much. It's not that hard, but people still seem to miss the bar
Yeah.
with the SAD diet, the standard American diet. So, if you look at the RDA, the recommended daily allowance for protein, it's not that
It's
much. So we
it's
can
actually
do
very
this.
low. Yeah. You can
We can do
totally
this.
do
Yeah, it is very low, but so the amount of protein, consider that, and that goes with balancing out your macronutrients.
Yeah. And you and I both see people come into us and they give us a food log or give us their Fitness Pal login or whatever. And I'm like, you're eating 800 calories a day. What are we doing here?
Mhm.
And well, women especially,
Mhm.
we're busy. We're on the go all the time. We prioritize our kids and our jobs. And if we skip a meal, oh well, because I have to go pick up my kids at school or whatever it is. And there's a lot of meal skipping going on, not a lot of meal prepping. And our bodies get used to that and like kind of stop responding because we're like, oh my gosh, you're starving me. I'm going to hold on to all these 800 calories. So it's a vicious cycle. And, there's a big word right now going around, reverse dieting. I feel like we've been reverse dieting for years with our fitness and bikini competitors because we diet them down or just restrict a little bit. And then after the show, we slowly add some food back in to increase those calories and everything. And it's a big buzzword now because so many people have been eating 600 calories, 800 calories. Trainers are like, oh my gosh, if I give them an 1800 calorie diet today, they're going to blow up. So we're reverse dieting and getting people back up there slowly because you just can't sustain 800 calories a day. It's crazy how often we see that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, really. And it's interesting because, there's a caveat to that. Sometimes we would say, well, what about fasting or intermittent fasting and that sort of thing? Like if you were doing a whole fasting day, like a water fast with, no fork and knife meals, your body would get used to that in a way that it's not secreting, a hormone called leptin. It's that hunger hormone that it's like, oh, okay, wait, you're not feeding me today, so I can suppress your appetite. But as soon as you start eating, then you secrete ghrelin, and I think of ghrelin like a little gremlin, right? You want to gobble everything up, and you're going to want to eat. So when you start that reverse dieting, or maybe you think like food pacing, your appetite is going to increase, and that's where you start to kind of repair some of the damage that's been done through metabolism.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's see. Where are we at? Number seven. Okay, this is one of my favorite ones. Stop using the baby weights. And when I say baby weights, I'm not saying that you're weak if you have to start at the 5 pounds. I'm saying stuff that's way too light for you. So, for example, I used to work at a local gym and I would see moms get out of the car and they would pick up their 50-pound kid or 40-pound kids. Maybe they had two. And I see them and they're carrying them in and they got a gym bag and they have a diaper bag and they have water bottles and they have 2 kids and they're carrying them in and they come in and then they go pick up 3-pound weights. I'm like, I just saw you in the parking lot carrying 100 pounds worth of stuff. I know you can lift heavier. And sometimes it's a matter of form and maybe not knowing proper form, stuff like that. But ladies, we can do it. You're stronger than you think. I say that all the time in my classes. You guys are stronger than you think you are. Okay. So it's about lifting heavier weights. And when I say heavy or heavy weights, heavier, I mean what you can lift with good form for a certain rep range. Okay. I'm not saying go pick up 50-pound weights and try and curl them if you absolutely can't do that. I mean, I can't do that, but maybe you start at 8-pound weights. Whatever is heavy for you at that time in your fitness journey, that's what you need to do. And you need to explore the dumbbells. I mean, machines can be great. They serve their purpose. Explore the dumbbells, explore the barbells. And that scares the crap out of a lot of people. But if you have to, hire a trainer. I know trainers aren't always economical, but maybe once or twice just to have them show you some of the bigger lifts. It's going to make all the difference in your workouts for sure.
Yeah. There's this quote on the wall at one of the gyms I belong to, and it's like, you're only as strong as you think. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's so true, but how strong do you want to be? And that's where I wanted to say, like, what got me really inspired to even just handle my own body weight. And I'm not saying that this person's the most upstanding citizen in the world, but it was actually like Madonna. Like, I remember seeing her arms like back in the day.
Yeah.
And I remember they were like, just like promoting her, like doing these yoga push-ups. It's called Chaturanga Dandasana. It's actually, fitness push-ups we do in our fitness routines from back then as well. And I was like, oh my gosh. So here's me. I'm like, I don't know, late teens probably. And that I thought I want to just be strong. And then I see Madonna here. She's rocking out pull-ups. I never saw a woman do a pull-up. I'm not even kidding you. Like, I know I sound like I'm a dinosaur, but this was like, at that point I was like, okay, I want to do this. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I the same way.
Have
I
that
loved
goal,
her
that
arms.
person that you aspire to.
Yeah. Cameron Diaz used to have like super buff arms. I remember. I'm like, oh, I want
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. Okay. So, oh gosh, this was a saving grace for me. Number 8 is stop doing so much cardio. I used to be cardio queen. Andy, I bet you were a cardio queen at some
I was too. Yeah.
teaching lots of fitness classes. Cardio feels good. We know that we burn a lot of calories with cardio, but at the end of the day, and I won't dive too much into this, but you can test your resting metabolic rate after you do cardio and then after you do a strength training session. Even though after you do cardio that you're going to have a little bit of spike, like your metabolism is going to go up and you're going to have more calories burned within that hour after you do spinning or something like that, but then it's going to tank. So weightlifting is the inverse of that. Like after weightlifting, okay, you kind of go back to your baseline, and then suddenly, throughout the day, you're burning more calories at rest than your average bear. So please know that strength training is where it's at, and it's so much more fun. You can be creative. You can do all these different planes of movement instead of just that mundane hit or same plane of motion for too long, right? Like I don't need to be doing that for 60 minutes.
Right. And I was just recently talking to a group of people about this, stop doing so much cardio. We want to do more weight training. And they're like, but I can burn so many calories. I can see it on my Apple Watch. And I'm like, then here's what you need to do, because you go for that hour and you burn all those calories and then you go sit at your desk. Here's what we need to do. We need to increase your NEAT, NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That's what non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That's basically like the steps you get all day. That's the calories that you're going to burn the whole rest of the day. Yeah. So if you are someone who does all that cardio, but then goes and sits at a desk job, you may only get maybe 5,000 steps in a day. But if you do your strength training, maybe do a little cardio for heart health, but you park at the end of the parking lot when you go to the grocery store, and maybe you're listening to a podcast, you go out and walk while you listen to the podcast, or you have a call, get up and walk around the office, whatever it is, increase that non-exercise activity thermogenesis, increase your NEAT, and that's where it's at. It's not all about that cardio session burning 600, 800,000. Well, that's men. My husband can burn 1,000 calories an hour. I'm like, are you kidding me? But he's a good example. And I know we're usually talking to women and talking about women, but my husband was a diehard Orange Theory guy. He would go 6 days a week, and Orange Theory is a lot of cardio. They do have some strength training, but it's a lot of cardio. And I kept saying, you need to back off. You're doing way too much cardio, because he wasn't reaching his goals. And you guys, he dropped down to either 1 or 2 times a week going to Orange Theory, and the rest of the time he just lifts, and he's ripped. I was right. Wow. And he did give me props, I will say.
Yeah.
So
you kind of have that catabolic effect, and I always look to the body type that I want to obtain. And I always give this analogy to people, like, have you ever seen a circus performer? They are shredded because they have this amazing mind muscle connection. They're always working with handling their own body weight, but they're strength training essentially. They're not just running a marathon. I was like, sign me up for that modality, because that's all balanced right there.
That's right.
We're at number 9.
Okay, number 9, stop being inconsistent. So, how many times have you started something on a Monday and on Tuesday you blow it and you're like, oh, forget it, I'm done. And the rest of the week you're just willy-nilly eating whatever, not working out, and you're like, I'll start next Monday. Here's the thing. Your results are going to come from being consistent over a long period of time. So we already talked about how the quick fixes don't work, okay? Don't expect those results immediately. We want consistency. We need you to stick to that nutrition plan for a long period of time. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going hardcore, I'm having no sugar, I'm never having anything off plan, I'm never having any alcohol. No, that means being consistent with maybe having 1 or 2 off-plan meals each week, maybe having 1 or 2 drinks each week. And then the rest of the week, you're eating clean, you're getting your workouts in, and we're doing that week after week after week after week. That's where you're going to see the best results. That's where the golden medal is. Okay. So stop being inconsistent with everything. If you fall off, who cares? Jump right back on for the next meal, the next workout. It's not about that. We talk about this all the time. You know, if you're eating 5 meals a day and there are 7 days in the week, that's 35 meals. If you hit like 30, 32 of those, that's a really amazing percentage. Okay. So if you fall off for one, or I plan my off-plan meals in, I know on Sunday night when I'm going to have my off-plan things for the week. I usually have 2, and sometimes they involve cocktails, and I have it, and then I move on, and it's over. So let's be consistent.
Yes. Amen to that. And you know what, just to sum that little one up, to say, my one good friend, she, in order to get consistent, she says, but I'm going to do this because I'm a fit girl, you know, and she just always says, because I'm a fit girl. And I like that, because I thought, okay, that's getting her consistent, because she's changing her identity, because for the longest time she was not thinking that she was the fit girl. And she's,
Yeah.
what would the fit girl do? And the fit girl is going to do those extra push-ups in class, or the fit girl is going to take the extra class during the week, or the fit girl is going to sign up for the next SSU program. So
I love that. I love the fit
yes,
girl.
that's a lot with that's a lot with identity, you know. And number 10. So this is like, okay, here we go. You know, the best thing that I've ever done, and I'm sure Andy, you can speak to this, is to stop trying to figure it out all on your own. You know,
Yeah.
hire a qualified professional. That's one of the reasons why Andy and I have teamed up to provide programs that are affordable, that they're results driven, and that you can be in a tribe of like-minded people, and you learn, you grow, you evolve, and you can do it on a budget. You know, this is not like, it's not going to break you. So put a little skin in the game and make sure that you sign up for a program that really you want to aspire to be like that person or whatever, and that's fine, but you want to be up leveled. So the best thing that I've ever done too, you know, through the course of my life, I've hired someone to help me. You know, if you were struggling with algebra, if your kid was struggling with algebra, you would hire a tutor, right? Or if you were struggling with your mental health, you would probably seek therapy, marriage counseling, any of those things. So personal training, nutrition is no different. And for you to live and thrive in the skin that you're in is, I mean, it's priceless. This is all you got. So yeah, that's our number 10 slash, you know, number 1. But I want to go through this one more time. So in case you weren't taking notes, jot this down now, or we'll put it in our notes for you guys. So number 1 was stop complaining about having to eat clean. That's reframing, right? You get to do this. You are choosing it. Number 2 is stop expecting immediate results, right? Rome wasn't built in a day, and just change one little thing at a time. 3, stop drinking so much alcohol. It is killing your gains. Number 4, stop burning the candle at both ends. Get some damn sleep already and decrease that caffeine. Measure it out. Number 5, stop cutting out whole food groups. Nothing is vilified, not even fruit. Number 6, stop eating like a bird. Get that protein in. It's not that hard. Number 7, stop using the baby weights. Number 8, stop doing so much cardio. Number 9, stop being inconsistent. And number 10, hey, get involved, hire help.
That's right. Even I have a trainer. It's, part of getting help is getting the feedback and having the support. So I'm all for it.
Well, thank you guys for joining us for SSU. We are signing off for now. We hope to catch you on our next episode.
Bye, guys.